Alrighty, this is page 7 of your notes. And today we're going to talk about function notation. So, function notation is really just a fancy way for us to substitute numbers in. And it just looks funny. So it says evaluate each function for the given values, then create a table to list all of your answers. So when we substitute, that means we're replacing the variable with the number given. So here I have y equals 6 minus 4x, and I'm going to replace the x with negative 2. So y equals 6 minus 4 times negative 2. And if I type that in the calculator, I just get 14. So that means y equals 14. So if I am making a table, x is negative 2 and y is 14. That's an ordered pair that is part of this equation. Remember, x can be any number. So I'm giving you specific numbers here. The next one says x equals 5, so I'm replacing x with 5. And so I'm going to write y equals 6 minus 4 times 5. And you can do this in multiple steps. I have 6 minus 4 times 5 is 20, which is negative 14. And there's my next order pair. If I input a 5, I get out a negative 14. So x is your input, y is your output. Okay. And then the next one, I have a fraction. So it's y equals 6 minus 4 times 3/4. Okay, so y equals 4 and 3/4 just make 3, so 6 minus 3 is 3. And so my ordered pair is 3/4, comma 3. Alright, so I did some of these ones in my head. However, I'm going to show you on the calculator how you can just type them in. So all we're doing is replacing. So here's my calculator, and I took 6 minus 4 times negative 2, because remember x is after the 4. And then I have, here I'll move it over so you can see the equation behind there, 6 minus 4 times 5, and then I would do 6 minus 4 times 3/4. Okay, so we're just substituting our x values in. So we're going to do the same thing over here, except now this is written in function notation. So have a little note down here in the center, and then we're going to come back. Function notation is read as f of x. So f of x. And it's equivalent to putting that y value in there. But if we use function notation, it gives us a little bit more information. So here, f of x equals 9 minus 4x. It's the same thing as saying y equals 9 minus 4x. But if we use function notation, then we're saying that this equation has a name and its name is f. So we use this a lot whenever we have multiple equations. We can't say they're all y equals, so we give them different letters as their name. And the inside right here is the input. This is what you're going to plug into your equation to see what it equals. So this just says write y equals 2x plus 3 in function notation. All that means is you're replacing the y and you're changing it to f of x equals 2x plus 3. And if that x was a different letter, like maybe it was the letter h, then you would say f of h, or whatever letter is used in your equation. So up here on number 2, we have the same equation really. It's 6 minus 4x, but we put it in function notation. So f of 1 means I'm replacing, this means x equals 1, and I'm going to plug 1 in for x. So 6 minus 4 times 1, which is going to give me 2. So my ordered pair is 1, 2. The whole thing is your y. The inside is your x. So the next one, this inside means x equals 2. So I would replace x with 2. 6 minus 4 times 2. Again, we could figure that one out. 4 times 2 is 8. 6 minus 8 gives me negative 2. So my order pair, though, the inside is x, the outside is my y value. And then the last one, this again is saying that x equals negative 1/2. And so I would plug it in as 6 minus 4 times negative 1/2. And if you don't want to figure that out, again, it's just a matter of plugging it into the calculator. So 6 minus 4 times negative 1/2. We get 8. And then this whole thing is your y. The whole thing equals 8. So my x, my input is negative 1/2. The output is 8. So just plug and chug problems. But we're going to look down here where I do have different equations. So it says if f of x equals 2x plus 17, and g of x equals 3x squared plus 8, and h of x equals 15 minus 6x, then find the following. What would happen if I added f of 3 plus g of 7? Well, f means I'm going to use this equation right here, and I'm going to plug 3 in for x. So it would look like this: 2 times 3 plus 17. And if you type that in, you get 23. And then we're going to add, so this whole thing gets added to g of 7. So plus, and g of 7 means I'm going to use this equation. And I'm going to plug 7 in for x, so it should say 3 times 7 squared plus 8. And just in case you're not sure how to get to the squared part on the calculator, right here I'm going to type in 3 parentheses 7. And squared is this key right here. So you just need to push it and then you can keep going. 3 times 7 squared plus 8. And I get 155. And then if I add these two together, I get 178. So that's what we're looking for. We're just plugging each of them in and doing whatever it says. So this next one, we're using g again. So g is the green one. 3 parentheses 1. We're replacing x with 1 squared plus 8. That gives me 11. And then we're going to take f, and we're going to subtract here. F of negative 4, which means x is negative 4 in this purple function. So that would be 2 times negative 4 plus 17, which equals 9. And we're going to subtract them to get 2. So that's my final answer. That's what I'm looking for. And I got one more. I have this function h. H is 15 minus 6x. And so it says h of 10, which means x equals 10. And we're going to plug it in. by saying 15 minus 6 times 10, which equals negative 45. And then we're going to take our green function that says g of negative 2, which means x is negative 2. And we're going to divide these, so, all right, I have 3 times negative 2 squared plus 8. And this one equals 20. And so once you get your two answers, if you type that in the calculator, you're going to get negative 9/4.